Okay. Would you guys rather live through the 80s or the 90s?
80s.
80s?
Yeah, for both of you.
Yeah. Mid Coke, pre-AIDS.
Could buy a house.
Do you have to cut that out?
No.
That's probably going right in the first 10 seconds, my friend.
Yeah.
We're putting that one front and center. He's a team player. I'm sure he'd do it for us. Alrighty. Hello, people of the world. Welcome back to another episode of Sam Sessions. We're here in the, what was the acoustic A room, but for these two gentlemen, we've added some electric guitars back here. Back again with another episode. Today's a very special day. It's hosted by the world's worst interviewer. And to my right here, I have Aaron and Leo.
Hello.
From Rickshaw Billie's Burger Patrol. Should we run that again or just keep it?
We're
From Rickshaw Billie's Burger Patrol. Take one.
World's worst interviewees. So.
Perfect. We're off to a great
trouble.
start.
That's true.
I'm going to see if I have this right. So, Leo, you came here on a bicycle from Boston, and you came here based on a coin flip?
Yeah.
More or less, yeah.
More or less, yeah.
It's like...
Yeah, that's the easiest way to put it, I guess.
So I know I just spoke words from the English language, but it makes no fucking sense to me, what I just said. So maybe we get like a little bit of context there. We'll start with Leo. You came here on a bicycle from Boston. Is that... that's a far
for
ride.
the most part. Well, I didn't bike from here to Austin. I biked from Boston to Cincinnati.
Okay.
And then wound up flying down here. I was doing like a solo loop pedal one-man band sort of project and was biking from city to city playing shows with the intention of going to Seattle. Ran out of time.
Did you run out of time because you were on a bicycle?
Well, yeah. Well, the thing was I had like a PR marketing dude that kept putting me in touch with like college radio and stuff like that. So I had to keep going to different places and playing and so it just... That was part of it. Like, it was good that I ran out of time, I guess, because spending more time in other places I wouldn't have normally gone and had different opportunities thrown at me. Flew down here because one of my songs was charting on, I think it was like KVRX or something like that. So I kind of just like threw a Hail Mary being like, oh, well, I'll just hop a flight down here because I had friends from college that lived here and see if I can get an interview set up and whatever. And so I broke my bike down and like planning on bringing it in on the plane, package it up the way they told me to. They wouldn't let me on the plane with it, so I had to leave it in Cincinnati. Jeez. And I flew down here with fucking nothing and was stuck down here and was in Houston for a week and flew back to Cincinnati. But that whole week experience, or like I was here in Austin for 3 days. That whole experience was enough for me to be like, I need to relocate here. This makes sense. I got off the plane and immediately, like, my buddy was like, we're shooting a music video right now. Do you want to be in it? So I was like, that was the first thing that was like, okay, this is a music-oriented town.
Uh-huh.
And just, yeah. It
musician-friendly.
It quickly was just like, all right, I need to reevaluate. And so that's why I ended up here.
Yeah, that's
long.
It's a good story to getting to Austin. You know, some people have boring ones. That's a good one for sure. Yeah. So I'm curious with you, was heads or tails Austin, and what was the other option?
I don't remember if it was like heads or tails. I think statistically it was probably heads, right? There's more mass on that side of the quarter. The other option was Nashville.
Okay.
And I was living in Athens, Georgia. I was playing in a band, and that fell apart and couldn't find anybody to play with or that I wanted to work with there. So I had some friends in Nashville that were doing like the singer-songwriter thing, and I figured I could probably do that. But I knew Austin was I don't know, maybe like louder or just like at least more guitar-centric, which is what I was playing at the time, and like blues bands, like southern rock stuff. So I figured as a guitar player I could hack it out here easier than doing the Nashville thing. So flipped a coin and it was Austin. Came out for a week to check it out. My dad was like, that's dumb. Why don't you like go see if it's the right fit? And then I did, got out here and saw a couple shows, and it was really loud. It was my first impression of town.
Yeah.
It was, and even just like literally like seeing bands with like no PA support like on stages, and it was just like loud, and I was like, oh cool, because I was frustrated with the group I was playing in, and I wanted to play like louder, faster, heavier stuff. So I came out here, and yeah, it just made sense. So it spent like another month in Athens when I went back, and then packed my stuff up and drove out here.
That's so cool. It's like the gods of metal and fate brought you guys together.
Did not know. I had homies in Nashville, but didn't know anybody in the state of Texas.
Man, yeah,
So
it must have been
that
pretty
was
scary.
tough. I mean, I guess once you buy the ticket, take the ride. You know, yeah. So I was kind of in a spot where that needed to happen anyway,
Yeah.
and it just made sense.
Well, fair to say it's worked out for you guys, for sure. And I would say it was a good decision on both your parts. And before we get too much further, there's a third member of the band, Rickshaw Billie's Burger Patrol. Who is that?
Sean.
Shawnathy.
Sean.
Jermaine.
And he's the drummer, right?
Yes.
Cool. So did he get in a car accident this morning? Why wasn't he able to make it? It must have been something terrible. Once you got into Austin, I saw that y'all were, both of you at least, were living at the Met over on Riverside.
All three of us were.
All three of y'all.
Well, they were living together, and I was living a couple buildings down.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I have pretty much no experience with this apartment complex, but I've heard about it a bunch working here at the shop. I know that they let you practice music until 10. There's a stage set up next to the pool. What kind of crazy nonsense goes down at that place? What crazy nonsense went down when y'all were living there?
Not a lot while I was there. I was there for like 3 months.
Okay.
I responded to a Craigslist ad and ended up with Sean via that, and just moved in with him. So I was only there for a little bit, sleeping just on the concrete floor of the Metropolis for a couple months.
Yeah.
But I know it used to be pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you can find trouble there if you look for it. But Sean and I were he was my downstairs neighbor, and we just met at a normal, 20-something-year-old party. Figured out we were both from Massachusetts, and then just started talking music and shit. And but yeah, I don't know. I guess the Met gets more flack than it needs to be, but there's a lot of lifers there, and but it serves its purpose. I was there for 5 years, and we were able to play music all the time, and as long as you're okay with everybody else playing music and being loud and whatever, it's
pretty cool. I think generally everybody was really respectful of the living situation.
Yeah, I mean,
it's nothing outrageous.
I moved right into the Met when I moved here and was there for 5 years, so it was it helped me gain a friend base and a community base that I was able to build off of. So
just a lot of creative types or bohemians.
It seems like a really, really good gene pool to be a creative person and kind of learn and meet people.
It's definitely probably one of the only places left in the country that is designed that way.
Yeah.
Let's put the music element and the art element involved in it. So
it's very special.
It's pretty cool.
Very special. Leo, your singing voice is incredible. It's it's unique and it's really cool. Did it take a while to find your voice singing, or did it happen naturally right off the bat?
It's a joke. I don't even think I'm a singer still. It's just, Sean and I were in a punk band for a couple of years before Burger Patrol started, called Chuck Bucket, and it was just a round robin of 10 different dudes all writing different punk songs, writing punk lyrics and different styles of punk. And it was me and the drummer that were writing all the actual music. Sean was playing bass, didn't know how to play bass, just smashing the bass. So yeah, that voice came out of just that annoying sort of just that, I don't know, it was nasally bratty sounding punk. That was just my angle of it, because everybody else had a different style of singing punk stuff. But then it turned into the fact that we are so like playing the 8 string and then having just this wall of sound that we're creating with Burger Patrol, singing that high just cuts through everything, and it just made sense. And it's not like a lot of people will say like, oh, it sounds like Ozzy, or it sounds like Jack White, or it sounds like this and that or whatever. It's not really from that. It's more like Zach De La Rocha. It's more like Ad Rock from Beastie Boys. It's stuff like that you know,
it's attitude.
It's more, yeah.
Interesting. And then with you went on tour with them kind of as a stagehand before you became their bassist. Is that right?
Yeah. Like I said, when I moved out here, I didn't know anybody, so I just started hanging out and going to shows. I think when I moved out here, and by the time I joined the band, I was at every single Burger Patrol show except for like 2 that were out of town.
Wow.
And I was like just roading gear and helping out at the merch table and stuff.
Yeah.
Just to like get to know people.
So Leo, what did you see in Aaron that made you decide he had to be the bassist for the band?
He was being the bassist when the bassist wasn't being the bassist, which was every day. He was on the road fixing the other dude's equipment, designing his tone.
It was like the first time you did the bi-amp thing that is like basically the bones of what we're doing now. Trevor, the old bass player, was like out of town or couldn't make a gig, so they just played 2-piece and did like the bi-amp thing. Was that?
Yeah, that's how that all came about with the with the dual mono setups that we used, was because he was out of town and we took a gig that we couldn't pass up. But yeah.
So then I just like helped design the bass rig around that to complement that, because once he discovered that, he was like, oh, this is like the thing. And just helping out with like gear and stuff. And I was such a big fan of the band, watching the shows. I was like really in tune with like the songs or the sound anyway, and I was really drawn to it. So wanting to like tweak with it or just be a fan of it and make it sound like, you know, as badass as I thought it was, watching it from the front row was like really, really cool. So,
yeah.
He already knew all the songs. He just was playing them for fun.
I was like learning them in my bedroom.
So it kind of just made sense. Like it just literally came down to the fact that he wanted it more.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, I got to have that kind of perseverance for sure. I'm curious with bands, it's pretty much inevitable that people run into problems, you know, communication problems, arguments during rehearsal, whatever it is. Yeah. What do you guys do to kind of try and avoid that, or when it does happen, get through it as quick as possible?
Fist fights.
Nice.
I'm not kidding. There's really not a whole lot of.
We can, I think
there is internal beef. Don't be confused.
Yeah, there's,
you know,
but we know how to deal with it with like just being funny about it.
Yeah,
you know, maybe poking at each other a little bit. Like
we're also grown ass adults.
It's like, I mean, we obviously have to communicate. I mean, and that's, you know, something that goes on stage just as well as, you know.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty important that the 3 of us don't really get involved in each other's personal lives, like at all. So I think that's a huge part of it. It's very much like treated as a, you know, a business, and you know, anything that, you know, if there is an issue or a problem, we are pretty good about working that out.
It's more like service to the sound or the band as a thing. It's, you know, the individual elements are not necessarily super important, I guess, if you're all working towards the same thing.
Yeah.
Not that we don't like each other.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. I like what you said, you know, you kind of keep it professional and stay out of each other's personal lives. But, I mean, just sitting here next to you guys, I can see the chemistry. It's really obvious, you know, like when you guys are telling the story, you kind of like finish each other's sentence almost.
Well, yeah, that translates to how we write and how we play on stage too, just having to be aware of the whole unit and not just yourself.
You're always
which
monitoring.
I think a lot of people overlook.
Yeah.
You're just we're one piece of 3 pieces making up the whole thing.
So it's like you're responsible for the whole thing, not just what you're doing. It's a real Lennon McCartney type operation.
You could tell when something's off too. Like I think I don't know if it's Sean and I with that like New England mentality sort of thing, but like we definitely like, it's very obvious when we're pissed off or when something's wrong, that you can see it on our faces. I think you not so much, but I don't know. I could be wrong with that, but I don't know. It's just like
I wear it well.
Yeah.
Just being able to talk about shit, you know, especially, you know, just getting off the road, being together for 24 days straight with like no privacy, and it's in a tiny little minivan with all the gear, and it's just, it gets repetitive and it gets exhausting, and everyone's feeling the same way in that sense, and it's just like persevering and self-sacrifice, and
sometimes the best thing to
looking
do
toward
is
a overall like the bigger goal.
Yeah, it's just like there's a ton of like inane bullshit that can go on, but it doesn't do anybody any good to bitch about it or even like bring it up. So sometimes the best thing to do is just ignore it and get over it yourself, and then keep working.
Yeah.
Keep working.
Yeah.
No doubt. So what are some of like the high moments for you guys as a band? Is it just being on stage in front of a great crowd? Is it creating that next song that sounds really good to you all, or?
Yeah, I mean, being on stage in front of a receptive audience is like incredibly rewarding.
Yeah.
Because we feed off of, you can only like manufacture so much energy or so much like chutzpah. It's like, and there are some shows that suck, and it's your fault. But there are definitely shows that suck, and we try not to let that show or put on a show, because that is your job. That's what we're up there getting paid to do. That's why we do what we do. But when the crowd is, we are lucky enough that everybody that comes out most of the time, and the clubs and staff are so amazing and welcoming, and it is really a treat to want to play those songs and put on a show and be energetic. And and for me personally, I remember watching the band and being so enamored by it, and like it's so electrifying. I want everybody that comes to our shows to feel that same way when they watch us play. So it's fun to put on a good show, and it's fun to have people go nuts.
Yeah, that's great.
And in pretty much anywhere in Texas we play now, it's like we've built that fan base up over just touring, even doing like Weekend Warrior stuff and whatever, to build up that fan base that they show up every time we play and we'll throw down, or even seeing people singing lyrics and whatnot. And there's a lot of cities that we hit on this past tour that we've never been to, and people were showing up with our shirts on, singing songs, and they don't even know them. So that's wild to me, is that people are singing things I'm writing.
Yeah.
Which is cool, because obviously, like, my whole goal is to be able to, I'm singing about a lot of fucked up stuff that's, either about somebody else or about myself, and the fact that somebody can relate. Just the relatability factor is very important. Being relatable in what we're doing and how we're doing it, and being available and within reach, not like hiding from everybody and like, hiding in the green room or something. This is something we talked about like yesterday or whatever. But like, just have that energy, not only with the state, like putting on a show and traveling, all this, and it's like being able to talk to everybody, and like, if someone appreciates our music, like, I want to be able to talk to them about it and answer their questions and stuff like that. It's super important.
Yeah, good answer. The music video for Dr. Destructo.
Oh yeah,
that's pretty sweet. That's pretty sweet. It's a good concept. Who came up with that idea? Was it all three of you guys collaborated?
Super random. No. That was all like
it's a buddy of mine in Atlanta had some friends that are like I don't know if they're at SCAD or like film school or Georgia State, but they just like reached out to us and wanted to make
with
a video.
That script. And we're like,
cool.
Right.
No way.
Yeah.
So who was the guy in the mask? Was it just one of those dudes? Or?
I don't know.
I don't know any of those kids.
We don't know any of those dudes except for the one guy that played the cop that was in it for like 10 seconds.
My buddy Sam is the cop.
That's awesome. It makes the video a little bit spookier, not knowing the guy underneath the mask.
It was cool. Yeah. We just kind of like rolled with it, and then we got it. We're like, okay, this is the official video for this
like
song.
Super official fan art.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. The amount of things the amount of like diehard fan base stuff that we get, we're not a big band by any means, but it's cool to have that like band and brand loyalty. It's really a special thing.
Yeah.
Would you guys describe it as almost like a cult audience that you guys have?
You could.
Yeah.
It's very much like that working class sort of industry folk. It's now spread beyond that, and like most of the shows that happen now, I don't recognize anybody in the crowd. Like the homies come out or whatever, but it's now slowly like getting out of hand.
So you guys are definitely blowing up for sure. Did you all do anything to kind of cultivate that audience that you can like put your finger on? We did this, and that's why it's the way it is, or do you think they're just naturally gravitated
you just have to be around and be part of the thing for so long and kind of
play 5 shows a week when everyone tells you to shut up. Break the rules.
You just have to go out to shows and hang out and be intentional with meeting people. Like, I want to shake your hand and know your name and say hey, and I enjoy seeing you out when I see you out, or if it's I think it's just being intentional with people and having a relationship with everybody that appreciates what you do, because it's very silly that anybody likes a band that jumps around on stage like, you know, goofballs and has a silly name and silly little burgers on their shirts, and so it's cool.
I think part of it is like, because we are a heavy band, and diffuse it with humor in the same way that, you know, somebody like Primus does or something like that, you know, even though I would like Primus is heavy at times, not all the time, but
or Melvins,
but like, or Melvins,
it's heavy, but they're absolute goofballs.
Okay, yeah, sure. Or even like that just made me think of like way back when like Killswitch Engage started, like just I don't know, like the tough guy, hard guy stuff is silly to me.
Bullshit.
And we like to we just like to make like this whatever, we're having fun, and everybody else should too. And I think that speaks to why, you know, a lot of times we get people that are like, I don't even like heavy music, but I like you guys. Like, so that's cool that we are able to crack through that barrier. I don't know. It's just it's because it's fun. We're having fun. Everybody else wants to have fun. Like, just being the catalyst for fun.
Yeah. There's so you and Sean both being from the East Coast, there's kind of like seems like a mentality in that general area of like work hard, you know, go nonstop. And you just talked about doing 5 shows in a row, and I know you guys were really active through the pandemic and everything.
Yeah.
Where does this like hard work drive come from, and did it rub off on you, or did you already have that?
Yeah, I blame the Protestant work ethic on you know, wanting to work harder than everybody else. I'm from the South, so
okay.
I think we just nobody else does it, and why? Why don't you work hard? It doesn't make any sense.
If we see somebody working harder than us, then we have to work harder. We have to be the hardest working. But like, it's just, I don't know. It's like a weird like sickness or something where I grew up working construction with my dad, so I was, you know, just like being the grunt worker, picking up debris and just like, you know, working my ass off for an 8-10 hour day every day. Like, I don't know, he instilled that in me, so I think that's where it comes from too. Just pride. I think like it's just pride in what your name has on it too. Not half-assing it.
If you want to make something happen, you've got to, I don't know.
Yeah, tell yourself you're going to do it, and you can make. I guess like being patient. Patience, I think, is the hardest part of the whole thing of making music work as, like, you know, your full-time gig or whatever. But yeah, just like, I don't know. Don't look at it as like, oh, I'm working a 40-hour-a-week job and then I'm playing shows on the side, because then you're going to look at playing shows as like, well, I get to party now. It's like, no, this is your job.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, that's how we look at it. Like, we made him and I have made the transition from working side gigs to now we just play in this band and that's all we have to do.
Yeah.
So if you want to do it, you can do it. Just do it.
Yeah.
It's very admirable, the amount of work you guys put in. It's really cool, and it definitely shows. You can see it. The music video for Heal, that one came out just about a month ago. That's a super, super fun video. You guys are
fun.
Messing around on stage. There's, you know, the guy on the back of the motorcycle playing guitar. It's awesome. How long did you guys spend shooting that video?
A couple hours. I mean, there's like show footage.
It was 2 days. Yeah. So there was show footage from Little Brother on Rainy Street, and there was show footage from Sagebrush, which that one was advertised as an album release show. Actually, I think that was the day that it was like pouring rain, because we were going to have a bunch of like old like boogie vans and cars and motorcycles show up and shoot that, but it was pouring, so we couldn't do that. But the day before that was when we shot all the motorcycle footage, which was like on the side street at Sagebrush. Yeah. But yeah, it was like somebody on YouTube commented like, "This is the perfect love letter to Austin," and I think that kind of is what it is. It's like just cool. No frills, no bullshit. This is who we are. It's and this is everybody that's supporting us in it.
Yeah.
Too. So
yeah, it encapsulates the energy it shows, and I think you get a sense of what we're all about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very cool. Do you guys prefer that style of music video over the one with Dr. Destructo, where it's like kind of scripted and there's a story
and like we're not in it or anything like that?
Yeah.
I mean, they both can be cool as like artistic pieces. I kind of like the raw, like just live footage thing.
Authentic kind of feel to it.
Yeah. I don't really go in for music videos on the whole. But there are some cool ones, like Zappa's Inca Roads is rad. Sure. And those are like artistic statements, I think.
It's funny that you brought up Zappa, because I was going to bring up
that interview.
The interview about like how, it's hard for musicians to make a music video because you have to front the money and you don't get any of that money back. It's just a promo reel. Mm-hmm. So, like having to spend money on, like, for instance, that Dr. Destructo video, we didn't pay anything for that. That would have been a few $1,000s if we had that idea and wanted to go through with it. Mm-hmm. We have music videos that we have had to pay, thousands of dollars to make. We don't see any return on it. We don't have our YouTube monetized or anything like that. Does it help? For sure. I don't know if it helps as much as like Spotify Discover Weekly, stuff like that, or just organic like growth, playing, touring, stuff like that. It's cool and it still serves its purpose, but it's like definitely not. Mm-hmm. We're long from the days of, TRL and Headbangers Ball and shit like that, I guess. But it's still cool to be able to have a visual element is definitely important.
Yeah.
In any sense, whether
for sure
one style or the other.
Yeah, 100%. We kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but I want to see if there's maybe anything new that you guys would want to add to it. But through the pandemic, like a lot of bands and musicians kind of took a break and weren't playing shows, maybe did a little bit of writing, but not a whole lot. And you guys were pretty much the exact opposite. It's almost like you doubled down and just worked super hard through that, rolled with the punches in a sense. And it paid off in a pretty big way. I mean, you guys are definitely, blowing up in a massive way. What did you guys do differently, and what was the mindset for keeping things rolling through the pandemic?
I think you just have to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the type of person who can just wait around. Like if everything sucks, or if like you have this roadblock, you have to figure out a way to deal with it or go around it or whatever. Like I couldn't just sit there with my thumb up my ass waiting for something to happen, so I just locked myself in the studio and started writing that record. I guess the big part was that we're lucky enough to where we have, engineering skills and had the tools at our disposal. So we did it all out of the house I was living in at the time. And I understand a lot of musicians don't have that available to them. So that's probably why a lot of people kind of just like pussyfooted around or whatever. But like, I don't know. I've never had, it was like what I was talking about earlier, when like you have a job working like a 9 to 5 and then you have your band and trying to make time for that and not looking at it the right way. It was like, dude, we had like 2 months where all I had to do was write music. Like that was fucking awesome. Like granted, everything else was really shitty and weird and horrible, but like I had 2 months to literally just be like, just play music. Yeah. Which was like, I'm never going to have this opportunity again. So that's why we did what we did. Yeah. So just taking the best out of that situation. And yeah.
It's cool. It's really, really cool. And like I said, it definitely paid off. Your merch, you guys do a good amount of merch sales. I see your t-shirts pretty often. And they're super badass. Who's responsible for that?
It's a lot of different artists.
Several different artists, yeah. People that reach out to us and want to do stuff, or homies that we have. I don't think I've seen one in any of the Goodwills yet, so that's good.
I did see one on eBay once.
Yeah, but yeah, it's
was it selling for like twice what y'all selling?
No.
It's cool to see them around town though, and it's fun to, especially people we don't know. It's fun to go up and say hey, and meet them because it's cool to see that walking
Yeah.
around. But yeah, the artwork, we're super grateful for everyone that's ever done anything for us and kind of curated that image, whatever it is.
A lot of artists that are just like, we meet them along the way or at shows, and we're like, we'd love to. Anytime anyone's like, I do art, blah blah blah, and like I'm usually like checking it out, being like, I'd love to work together just to help. Like, we're a band, you're an artist, like let's help each other out. I can promote you, you promote us, like that's just so we have artists in Austin and Dallas and Canada and Iowa, I think, or in California. Like it's just it somehow all works together in the branding. Just like that sort of cartoony, rat finkish, like, I don't know, crumb sort of grotesque cartoon shit.
Yeah, it's cool. Like I said, the merch is pretty badass. I'm a fan of it. I see my brother wearing it all the time too.
Yeah.
It's essential.
He's probably got one for every day of the week at this point.
Just about.
But that's cool too. I love what people look like, because we don't ever really repress stuff. We have a few designs that we'll keep steady, especially for touring and stuff. But like every time we repress a shirt, it'll be a different color scheme or whatever. So there's like, probably 50 different varieties of Burger Patrol shirt out in the world. That's cool. We're like, because you can then timeline it. Like be like, oh, that shirt, we only did 50 of those in 2018, and it was here, and here. So it's cool.
People always say, like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Moving forward and going forward with the band, is that how you guys feel? Is that the mentality, or is there anything new that you're looking to add into it?
We need to get a new van.
That is.
We need to get a booking.
We need to fix it.
We need to get a booking agent.
But like, so the formula,
just
the structure, that doesn't need to change.
Yeah. Because granted, we've done a decent amount of touring, and we have a decent fan base, but we obviously want to, we're not anywhere near the point of like other bigger bands, like even locally being like, I don't know, like Black Angels, for instance, is like one they just dropped their new album, and they're playing 1,000 cap plus venues or whatever. So not that I think 500 cap venues for us would be perfect. We don't have to play the giant, because we want to still be like a little bit more intimate, but just figuring out how to get in more people's ears faster, because there's still a huge pocket of the country and the world that doesn't know us yet. So we have to keep doing this. Like, I think in the overall grand scheme, we're still a very new band. I mean, it's been a band for 6 years almost. It'll be 6 years in March. So just keep grinding and don't stop until everybody hears it, I guess.
How do you guys feel about TikTok? Are you throwing anything up on there? Do you guys have a band account? Nothing like that?
Not big on the Chinese Communist Party software.
That might be for the best.
What that was. No, it's just, I don't know. I think that's a pretty hollow format, just like Twitter or something. It's just like,
it's vapid.
It's something else will change. It's just like when we started as a band 5 years ago, it was Facebook likes. It was Facebook. Like now Facebook's completely dead, and they've made it impossible for you to even promote anything. So now it's Instagram is the thing.
The only thing that
What's
matters.
the next thing? It's just like, we need to be in front of you, having a conversation with you, because that's not going to change. So that's the goal.
If I shake your hand and sell you a shirt or sell you a record, and you're screaming at me and I'm screaming at you on stage, that's the only thing that matters. That's the only thing that's real, and that's the only thing that has permanence. So that, to me, is like, if everything else around that can change, but Dick Dale was on stage shredding in front of people until like literally the day he died.
Wow.
And that's, when did his first couple records come out? Like the 50s. And that was like a career of permanence. He was just constantly playing and constantly out there, and we want the same thing, because it's the only thing that's real.
We want real shit. We want,
That's an amazing answer. I love that, because it is very true. Like, the social media platforms are always changing, and so
think of like bands that are are still out there doing it. Like we've mentioned Melvins because we're massive fans. I don't know that anybody ever like is successful or nowadays makes it or nobody gets out.
Mm-hmm.
You just did it longer than everybody else and you're still grinding.
Mm-hmm.
And that's successful. That's real.
All right, so for the next part of the show, we'll go to rapid fire questions, kind of like this or that. There you go, little rapid fire guns. And yeah, I mean, if there's two clear options, I'll be curious to see if y'all like shout out the same answer at the same time or something like that. Let's start off with something really simple: car or truck?
Truck.
Okay, so you can carry your gear.
We both
or
have
what?
trucks.
I mean, they're both cool.
Sorry, what was the question? Next. Sorry, I thought you asked.
Is it truck so you can like carry gear easier?
Yeah,
Partially.
I guess part.
Yeah.
Typically more reliable.
Yeah, gotcha.
Chevrolet 350 can't be killed, baby. Come on.
There you go.
I just have a cool little old cute truck, so I can fit my gear in it, but I'm trying to keep it clean, which is probably the opposite of what you want to do with a truck. But it's just fun.
Mm-hmm.
Motorcycle would be probably my
manly.
number one choice.
Yeah.
If it was bike, truck, car, I'd pick motorcycle.
And if you have a truck, you can put the bike in the
Yeah.
back of the truck. It all works together.
Oh man. Okay, cat or dog?
Dog.
Dog, yeah.
There you go. That's an
Yeah,
easy one.
idiots.
What are you, vegan?
Night owl or morning person?
Oh, night owl for sure. I was up till 6 a.m. every day, just writing.
You're such a night owl, it almost makes you a morning person. Man.
Yeah, for
6
real.
a.m.
Yeah,
Technically.
You guys like the nature or the city more?
Nature.
Nice. Penthouse in Itty City or ranch in Itty State?
ranch.
Not any state, but a ranch.
Yeah. You guys like road trips or plane rides?
Say road trips or plane rides?
Yeah.
I guess probably road trips
trips.
because that's what we do.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Planes are cool though, I guess.
When you're getting dressed in the morning, are you going for style or comfort?
Comfort,
A little bit of-
utility.
I think a little bit of both. I'm 50-50.
Yeah.
I guess that's true.
Yeah. Snake or spider? Which one are you going to get bit by?
I've been bit by both, so fuck them both. I don't know. One almost killed me.
Damn.
Wait, like, which one
Which
would I-
one?
A copperhead snake.
Which one would I be looking forward to getting bit by? Is that the...
Well, like if you have a snake in front of you, you have a spider in front of you. One of them's going to bite you. You get to pick.
I knew a stripper named Spider once, so maybe
For some reason, I feel like the spider would be less painful than two giant fangs going inside.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I don't know. So maybe I'll choose spider.
There you go. Crypto or stocks?
You broke Aaron.
Can I buy precious
A bell.
metals instead?
Yeah, buy silver.
I don't know. Yeah, buy stocks, I guess.
I was just saying
Because
stocks, yeah,
crypto's
stocks.
bullshit.
I'll take your answer of precious metals instead. That's a
Yeah.
good one. That's a good one. Get gold, yeah. Debit or credit?
Both systems are incredibly flawed. Debit.
I'll say credit because of all like buildings, like fucking plane miles and shit like that. Or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like buying something and immediately paying it off just to get like miles and shit or whatever.
Ask
all
us
the
what we think about
deals
the
or whatever.
Federal Reserve.
You guys could probably teach me a thing or two about the Federal Reserve, honestly.
He can.
Yeah. You guys do sports at all? Like watch sports?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Football or baseball?
Baseball.
Hockey.
Nice. What about
Yeah.
UFC or boxing?
Bare knuckle boxing.
Boxing.
Nice.
Bare knuckle boxing. Damn.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's real.
There were a couple cards recently that were just wicked.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Do they have like professional bare knuckle boxing?
Oh yeah,
Wow, I haven't seen that
Whoa.
before.
shit is intense, dude. I mean, it's like it's
sounds-
on like a UFC card, basically, but yeah, just bare knuckle.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's intense.
it's gnarly.
Yeah.
You guys like doing big venues or smaller venues?
Small venues.
Nice. Just more intimate, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Way more rowdy.
There you go. I bet you guys are exposed to this all the time. When you're hanging out with a group of people like to smoke socially. Would you prefer them to be smoking real cigarettes or e-cigs?
Real
Real
cigarettes.
cigarettes.
Nice. Man, that's everyone's answer.
What are you, vegan?
Again.
Analog smoking, man.
Yeah.
It's the way.
Yeah. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Coffee.
Okay. If you're romantically interested in someone, would you rather be texting them all day or like a 2-hour phone call at night?
I think phone call.
Yeah, the phone call.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Cocktails or beer?
Beer. Cheap beer.
Cocktails.
There you go. What's your favorite liquor? Liquor of choice.
Tequila.
Tequila?
But my favorite drink is it's a traditional cocktail called a Last Word.
Oh, dude, hell yeah.
Yeah. Gin, green chartreuse, lime
Oh.
juice, and maraschino cherry liqueur. It's
Mhm.
the best.
I gotta
Oh,
try
yeah.
that.
It's so good.
It's delicious. Yeah.
It's called The Last Word.
Last word. If you want a
Mhm.
little, if you want a little alteration of that, it's essentially the same thing, but they replaced the chartreuse with it's a oh god, it's what's called a aviation or aviation.
Oh, with
Oh.
like
It's a fucking,
cassis, or it's like either cassis or like a black currant liquor.
Yes, that's it. That's what
Creme
it
de
is.
violette, I think.
Yeah,
maybe.
that's it. Yeah.
Interesting.
Those are both
Muddled-
very
muddled
similar to each
flour.
other. They just take
Yeah.
like the aviation's a little sweeter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a cocktail bartender for like 7 years.
Okay,
that's
so you
why
got
I'm,
knowledge
like-
in
Dude, yeah,
it.
you can make some badass cocktails at Perla's.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you were at Perla's?
Mhm.
Oh, that's sick. I love that place. What's your go-to tequila?
I mean, probably just Espolón because of price and
Yeah.
It's
You know,
good.
It's a quality
Yeah.
bottle.
100% agave and all.
Yeah.
I fucking love Espolón.
but yeah. I
What's
don't-
your go-to cheap beer?
Got Bush.
Yeah.
I mean, all of them. Love Rolling Rock.
Yeah.
Love Rolling Rock.
Can't go wrong.
Red Stripe?
Silver Bullets. I'm a big Red Stripe guy.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta know what's your favorite like craft beer.
Favorite craft beer.
What's that place in
Creature
Athens?
Comforts
Or, yeah.
Brewery in Athens, Georgia.
Nice.
Brews a double IPA called Cosmic Debris like once a year, and it's insanely good.
Okay.
Cosmic Debris.
Yeah,
That
it's
sounds good.
it's amazing. But Georgia just has so many rad breweries.
Is that a
There's a couple
Is
good
that a
ones.
Zappa reference or
Yeah,
just
yeah,
okay?
yeah.
Okay. Do you ever get that you look like Zappa?
All the time.
Oh.
Yeah. That's why I don't grow this part out anymore. But like side profile is like pretty much not as much dead on, but the side profile is
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
much the same.
You guys like movies or TV shows more?
Movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Top 3 favorite movies?
2001: A Space Odyssey, Eraserhead.
Nice.
Everything, everywhere, or what the heck is it
Everything,
called?
Everywhere,
All at Once. Yeah,
The newer
that
one,
movie
right?
fucked me
Yeah.
up. It's so good.
Let's see. I'm gonna go with Dr. Strangelove, How I Learned to Love the Bomb. Lawrence of Arabia, love that one. And I don't know.
Muppets in Space.
Yeah, Muppets in Space. The Informant, with Matt Damon. I think it's
Okay.
super underrated as a
Yeah.
comedy.
I haven't seen that one.
It's very good.
Okay, I'll have to check it out. Would you guys rather be the first person alive or the last? We need more of these thought-provoking ones.
I mean, suppose they both have.
Probably the last. Because then at least you get some alone time.
I'll say first person live because I'm very much into fucking around. Not so much finding out.
Yeah. Not so much finding out.
I'll go with first person.
That's fucking awesome. All right, we'll do this one separately for each of you. But if you could be a professional at anything outside of music, what would it be?
Gosh, I don't know.
Damn, that's a real musician right there.
Yeah,
Never even thought about anything else.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly not. Yeah.
Got nothing.
It's a hard question.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's like nothing else I'd like even remotely as close as music.
Chef?
No, I mean, I like cooking and
Yeah.
that's fun, but that's like a survival thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was gonna say like chef or something, but also I wouldn't want to be working in a restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Like, I don't know. Maybe I'd be like a professional like pickler, fermenter, to have my own pickle company or some
There you
shit.
go.
Which I probably will still do on the
Yeah.
side or something. But
Something
yeah, I don't know,
to do.
dude.
You know what? I'd work for like maybe the forestry service, doing like, I'd run around in the woods all day with a chainsaw.
There you go.
Yeah. I enjoy that work.
If he wasn't the bassist for Rickshaw, he'd be running around the woods with a chainsaw all day.
Get one of those
Pretty sick.
fuel-injected stills,
Yeah.
the new ones. Badass, man.
Do you guys have a favorite conspiracy theory? Something tells me you got a favorite conspiracy theory. I got a hunch.
They're not conspiracy theories, if I'm right.
What's your favorite one? You have one?
That everything's gonna be all right.
Aww, that's adorable.
No, there is
And
one.
bullshit.
Yeah, there is one where when Kennedy was shot, he was put on a plane. The CIA put him on a plane, transported the body to like South America, and replaced his brain because the bullet was not a bullet; it was like a poison blow dart. So they replaced the brain and then flew him back. And like nobody noticed, like because the toxins hadn't circulated in his body or whatever. But that's got to be my favorite because
Never
it's
heard
like
that one.
it's like half true, half bullshit. Like
Yeah.
the CIA was probably involved.
Before we do yours, the one weird thing that is really weird about the Kennedy assassination is the video that they have of it. It's a 6-seater car.
Yeah,
It's like
right,
3
right,
rows.
yeah.
And then the car that they have in the museum is 2 rows. It's a
Yeah.
4-seater.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is the car that he was shot in. So it's
Was
like,
it the Zapruder film?
I'm
where
not
you can
sure.
see like the driver turn around and
but but it's just
pull
like
the trigger.
I don't know. How are you not paying attention to detail to that level? Like you're missing a
Yeah.
whole row of seats in the car. What's going on?
Yeah, they think you're stupid.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, and they're right to think so. I am pretty stupid, but I mean, still, I can watch a YouTube video and figure that one out.
Yeah.
How about you? You got a favorite conspiracy theory?
Probably like ancient civilizations getting like alien technology or some shit. Or like where did the Aztecs go? Or
Yeah.
like stuff like that.
The
Lines
Or
The library of
yeah.
Timbuktu.
The Nazca lines.
Yeah.
Or like all that like
Atlantis, yeah. That's cool. That's super cool.
Yeah, any alien stuff I'm super about.
Okay. Would you guys rather live through the 80s or the 90s?
80s.
80s,
Yeah, for both of you.
mid Coke, pre-AIDS.
Could buy a house.
Do you have to cut that out?
No, not at all.
That's probably going right in the first 10 seconds, my
Oh, yeah.
friend. We're putting that one front and center.
I don't know. Musically, both very cool. The 80s, though, I think for sure is
Yeah,
pretty rad.
badass. Guys, I can't thank you enough for coming and doing this today. This was a lot of
Thanks
fun.
for having us.
Yeah,
It
dude.
really was. Thank you so much, Aaron. Thank you, Leo. Your band is fucking badass, and I really
you.
can't wait to see how much further it goes and how much further you guys take it. And I know it's going to keep going because the work
Thanks, man.
ethic I see in you guys. So
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
thanks a lot for coming on.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you guys so much for watching that episode with Rickshaw. Please stick around and check out this music video called Heal.